Hi, friends. Hi, friends. It is 12:56 p.m. We're 12:56 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm here in New York City. I would love to hear from you in the comments. If you're joining us live, where are you joining us from? Even if you're not joining us live, if you're watching this later, where are you watching from? Thank you so much for being here with me, keeping me company. It is Tuesday, November 25. We are exactly 1 month away from Christmas, and I like Christmas. I have always loved Christmas. I'm looking forward to the happiness that the Christmas season can bring. It's going to be a strange Christmas, different Christmas, but I'm also really looking forward to the new year and hope that next year will be better. This is my third attempt at this live. I started a couple of times and I had to stop. The most recent because my dad called me from Jamaica, and it's just so good to hear from him. I haven't spoken to him for several days, and there's a lot going on with my family, and so when my dad calls, I have to stop everything that I'm doing and talk to him. And I could have put you guys on mute and talked to him for a couple of minutes, but I didn't know how long our conversation would be, what he wanted to share. And so I just disconnected. But I'm back. My dad is fine. He is well. I keep in touch more so with my brother, who is trying to assist my dad. I don't want to say take care of him because my dad wants to be independent in a lot of ways. So he doesn't want to be taken care of. Well, my brother has been assisting him, but my brother is away for work for a couple of days. So, yeah, I had to talk to my dad. But things are still rough. They suffered a lot of damage during the hurricane. Recently, Hurricane Melissa devastated a certain part of Jamaica, and it just happened to be the part of Jamaica where my family is. And so the house that we have there, my parents' house, the house where my dad still lives, they lost the roof and the ceiling. And so everything for most of the house is just exposed. They lost a lot of their belongings. They have one bedroom and one bathroom that had a decked roof that had a concrete covering. So they have a small space where they can stay and secure some of their things. But a lot of the things that were in the house are not things that can be moved. Like the kitchen, they lost their roof in the kitchen, and so kitchen ceiling is just the sky at this point. And there's things in the kitchen that you can't move. The cabinets are fixed to the wall. The sink is mounted on a base. The stove is in its place, and the system that they use in Jamaica to cook their cooking gas comes in a cylinder that is affixed in place. Like the stove is backed up to a wall, and in the wall there is some kind of metal housing, and there is a tube that runs from the stove through the wall to the outside where you have your gas cylinder, and you get your cooking fuel from that gas cylinder. And every so often, as you use it up, you purchase another cylinder full of gas, and get it replaced. But those are not things that you can move. You can't move those things around. So even though there is no roof, there's no ceiling, it's just the sky, the stove is in the kitchen, and that's where it is, and you can't move it, you can't do anything different. So I remember the week after the hurricane, or a few days after the hurricane, my brother was telling me that he was cooking, and it started to rain. So the rain is coming down, just wetting up your pots, and extinguishing the fire that you're using to cook and all of that. So it's not a good situation. It's not a good situation. um, I grew up at a time where both of my grandmothers still had outdoor kitchens that they used. My mom's mom, who I was a little closer to because we lived closer to her physically, she had both an outdoor kitchen as well as a kitchen inside of the house. But because she had grown up using her wood fire outside, she would cook in the outside kitchen, which was a zinc covered place, where she had her oven, her wood hearth that she, put her wood together and her coal together and lit every day, and she would cook there. And then she had her indoor stove that she was a little suspicious of, because, you know, having cooking gas, um, having gas that could light your stove. Um, must have been scary when you first heard about it. So my grandmother prepared all her meals on her outdoor stove, and then she would use that little indoor kitchen if they needed a cup of tea at night or something like that. Um, but yeah, I grew up in that time where people still use outdoor stoves, but you had that infrastructure set up. You had an outdoor setup to do outdoor cooking. When you live in a house where you have indoor amenities, where you have a stove that needs a cylinder of fuel, um, when you have that, you are not prepared to still be doing, being outside, cooking outside. It's like camping in your own house. So it's been a tough situation. And all of this is just made even worse by the fact that my mom was not there to be the force, that be the glue that keeps everything together, that keeps everyone together. So, while everybody's mourning and just trying to adjust to life without my mom, just like the biggest upset after that could come, which is the um, partial loss of the house and all the things that would make adjustment be possible. So it's been a tough time. It's been a tough time. And we are, there's a lot of issues, a lot of challenges to work through. They couldn't start doing anything because a lot of the amenities that you need in order to start work were just not available. So you want to start construction to rebuild or fix the house, you need to be able to get supplies. You need to be able to get people who can come to do the work. And in the days and immediate weeks right after the hurricane, it's just very difficult to obtain those things. The decision the decision has been made that we're going to put a concrete roof on the rest of the house. um, all the zinc and all the, not zinc, it wasn't zinc, it was another kind of tile, which at some point I'm going to figure out what it was so I can tell you. But all the ceiling and so on that was there, we're going to just get rid of all of that and just put a concrete roof on. um, and in order to do that, you need to be able to get the cement to make the concrete. You need to get marl, which is the really finely crushed stone. But you need a lot of it. You need a lot of cement, you need a lot of marl, you need a lot of steel, um, you need water. And all of those things are contingent on the amenities being available. So the gravel, the marl, the crushed rock, you get that from a quarry, which needs light to crush the stone. So those quarries were closed um, in the weeks after the hurricane because there was no electricity coming to the area. The cement was in short supply because everybody's trying to do the same thing, the hardwares and so on. They just don't have enough to supply everybody wanting to do all of that work right at the same time. A lot of people in the area in Jamaica where my family live, a lot of those people were trying to do the same thing around the same time. So a lot of people lost so much. It's hard to get a workman or team of workmen to come to work on your house because they're also working on their own houses or trying to help their neighbors or their friends or whatever. Um, the the government was also giving some assistance to people who had lost a lot. And before you start working on your house, you need to have the damage assessed by someone from the government office, the agency that deals with that. And so it feels sometimes like things are stagnant, like things are not moving. Okay, you've suffered this loss and you want to start working to fix it, but all the things that you would need to fix it, it just seems like you can't access them. So it felt like a lot. It feels like a lot happened, and we just weren't able to do anything. It's almost been a month since the hurricane. But hopefully we are now in the place where we can start working. We got the assessment done. We know we're not going to hear back anything from them for a long time, but we just have to move forward. We have started acquiring some of the materials to start the work and trying to start getting the people in place so that maybe we can start doing some of that work in the next few days. So it is the week of Thanksgiving here in the United States. I am celebrating Thanksgiving with my um, American community, but also just giving thanks for everything that we have been able to um, accomplish in the last few weeks. It's been a really tough time, mentally, emotionally, financially. Um, it's been a really tough time. But we are here. We are here and we are looking forward to good times to come. Um, you always hear that saying, the best is yet to come. It's hard to imagine that the best is yet to come with all the things that we have lost, all the people that we have lost. But we still have to believe that that good things are ahead of us. Good times are ahead of us. So we're excited about all of that. And so we also have some packages to unbox. I will not be here. I won't be able to make a live in the next few days. So even though I'm not sure that I want to open both of these packages, I'm going to open them. I was hoping that my friends would be able to join me live. But whenever you're watching this, whether you're live with me today or you are watching this later, we're going to share this unboxing together. Now, here's a little caveat, right? My daughter is home today, and one of these boxes contains something that I want to share with her, surprise her with. Maybe for Christmas, maybe, but we'll see. I think, the thing that I'm thinking about, the thing that I'm expecting, is in one of these boxes. So when I open the box, I'm not going to react too loud. I think it's this one. So we're going to open it first. Because if it is this, then I have to put it away. But thank you so much. The publishers, Penguin Random House, sent me this gift package. And I am so excited. I don't know. Don't know what's inside. I know what I'm expecting, but I don't always know what they're sending, when it's coming, and so on. So we're going to open it together. I'm gonna close my eyes. What is this? The Meat Eater cookbooks. It is the essential wild game cookbook library. This is gorgeous. It is from author Stephen Rinella, and it's two books. It is two books. It's the Meat Eater Outdoor Cookbook and the Meat Eater Fish and Game Cookbook. Oh, this is beautiful. This is beautiful. So I'm gonna open it. I'm gonna open it, but I'm not gonna open it here. I'm gonna open it later. Make a real video, maybe a short, so I can show you all the details. But this is beautiful, isn't it? It has, it's a little bit of a embossed design here of. I'm not sure. Is this deer? Bison? I'm not sure. And then the antlers are forks. That is such a great design. Thank you so much, Penguin Random House, for having gifted me that one. All right, let's see what's in the other box. Is the other box going to be the thing that I want to surprise my daughter with? We'll have to see. Okay. It is. It is. Take a quick peek. It's it's Minecraft. Minecraft. It's Minecraft. It's Minecraft. It's Minecraft. My daughter wants to learn how to build Minecraft. So when Penguin Random House, invited me to get a copy of this book, I was like, yes, it's gonna be perfect because I can actually review this while I am sharing it with her. So it's a box set. It's a box set. It's a box set. I'm gonna put it away. I'm gonna have to put it away. Okay, I'm back. That has been secured. So we got a couple of great things. There was the book box set that we will not speak of. And then we got these meat eater cookbooks, which I'm going to do a proper unboxing, opening of that box set and share it with you. So aside from that, I want to chat a little bit about this book that I'm currently reading, Muriel Sparks' The Bachelors. And in this one, we are reading about unmarried men in England in the 1950s. Um, they're unmarried, but they all have some kind of entanglements, and it is about their ruminations, just on their status, but also how they see relationships with women, because not every person who is a bachelor has the same desires, same thoughts about their marital status. Um, Muriel Spark also incorporates some social topic in all of her novels. And in this one, we're reading a little bit about psychic access. So some of the characters in here are spiritual mediums or clairvoyants. And she gives a little bit of a comparison and contrast between belief in spirituality in this way and spirituality in religion. And so we have people who are religious, whether they be Catholic or Protestant, and there's discussion about that distinction as well. And people who are, well, I'm saying it like those are the only two religions, right? I'm not saying that at all. But there is discussion between these characters who are Catholic versus the characters who are Protestants. And there's even a section where they're talking about people who are anti Catholic, meaning that they are therefore Protestant, as though those are the only two religions that it is possible. Those are the only two religious thoughts that it's possible to have. And I don't think the author is necessarily saying that. It's just these are the characters that she's working with. But there is comparison between Catholicism specifically and people who believe in this kind of spirituality, like they go to seances and they try to contact people, spirits of people who have long been passed. Um, and it's interesting. It's really interesting. This is not necessarily a reflection of my own religious beliefs, but I find these kinds of conversations to be interesting to observe in any way. So I'm liking this. The synopsis on the back, I'll give you just the first line. It says, a barrister, a priest, a detective, a lovelorn Irishman, a handwriting expert, a heinous spiritual medium, the very British bachelors of Muriel Sparks' supreme 1960 novel come in every stripe. And that is true. Like, there are a lot of male characters, there are some women, and we get to see some of the things that women deal with, like women being in relationships with men who would prefer to be bachelors, and some of the things that a man might say in order to preserve his bachelor status, even while he is having relationships with the women. Um, it's I'm liking the writing. I'm on a quest to read all of Muriel Sparks' novels. So this is just my latest one. This is just under 200 pages. So I'm hoping that I will actually finish it up today, so I can move on and tell you about something else. So that's what's been going on over here in the reading space. I have also been I've also been taking a few of the quizzes on listchallenges.com, my favorite my favorite website from a couple of years ago. I'd gotten into this time and space where I was taking these quizzes and publishing my own quizzes on this website, like all the time. And then I just kind of stopped. There was a creator on there that I used to really enjoy the quizzes that he would share. And I'm assuming the person is a he. Um, the person's moniker was male, and I just really love the books that they would share. Got so many recommendations from them, and they publish hundreds of these lists. And it's possible to just follow a creator on this challenges.com, and because okay, so let me explain. If you're not familiar with listchallenges.com, it is a website where you could sign up and you could take these challenges. There are challenges in lots of categories. I usually do the bookish quizzes because that's the thing that I want to check off. I want to see how many books from a list I have read. But there are lots of different categories. Like you can do movies or TV shows or food or country, travel, all different categories. I focused specifically on books because those are the lists that are most interesting to me. So on this website, you can browse the lists and find lists that people have shared and take the quiz to see how many of the books you've read. And it gives you statistics. So for each list that you would go through, it will tell you how many book titles are in this particular list and how many people have taken the quiz before you. So what is the average number of books that these people have read? And so you get stars based on how you rank with that average. So if you've read one book from the list, you get 1 star. That's a guarantee. And depending on how many books, maybe if you've read 5 books, you get 2 stars. If you've read 10 books, you get 2 stars, whatever. And you want to get to at least the average. So the average is some number of the books on the list. And some people will share just lists that are specific to them. So I might upload a list of the books that I have read this year. And there's no rhyme or reason to that. So you would only score well on that list if my list is specifically skewed towards a topic. Like if I only read sci-fi and you also read a lot of sci-fi, then you'd probably do really really well with my list. But if I only read sci-fi and you never read sci-fi, it doesn't matter how well read you are or how many books you have read. If you don't read sci-fi, then you won't do well on my list regardless. So there are those kinds of lists. But there are also lots of lists that people share that are more general. So sometimes it may be a recommendation list or books that are in line with a specific genre, or sharing books that may be curated from somewhere else that you are now importing into this website. And I just love all of that. I just love all of that. I really like bookish things. So I was telling you now about this creator called Marked. And at first I used to say Mark D, but I think it's supposed to be Mark. And he shared hundreds of lists, books that were popular and books that were obscure. So you get introduced to some titles that maybe you'd never heard about, just kind of mixed in with other books that were more familiar. And so I like taking his challenges. Most of his challenges also were a manageable number. So sometimes you'll find lists on here that's just like 20 books. And a 20 book list is fine if you're looking for that specific list. But 20 books is not a lot if you read diversely, then there's a much less probability that we will have a lot of books uncommon if your list is only 20 long. The most common number on here is probably 100. A list of 100 books. How many of them have you read? And Marked would share a lot of lists that were about 100, between 100 and 200, which felt really manageable, felt really approachable, and also gave you an opportunity to match a lot of those books. So I used to really like following his lists and taking his quizzes. And he used to publish like a few lists every few days. And the last couple of years, he's just disappeared. And I don't know what happened. But it's just, it's kind of random when you feel like you get used to seeing someone on an online space. You get used to their content, and then it just disappears. And so every now and then I have disappeared, I guess, from YouTube, and take a while, take a week, a few weeks, couple of months sometimes, and you don't hear much from me. But I've always come back. I've always tried to not let the distance be so long, the separation be so wide that I don't come back. But there have been so many people over the years that, you meet on these platforms. You feel like you meet them because you consume their content. And then just after a while, they're not around anymore. And you miss them and you wonder where they are. And you hope that they're alive and well and that they've moved on to other channels or other platforms and that you'll see them again someplace. But man, sometimes it sucks. Sometimes it feels like it sucks. Like you just one day you got so used to them and just one day they weren't here. So that's where that's going. So yeah, my one of my favorite bookish sites is listchallenges.com, and I was first introduced to it because I saw somewhere, maybe on Facebook, where someone had shared this list called the Rory Gilmore Reading Challenge, and it was a list of all the books that the character in the Gilmore Girls, Rory, had read or had been seen to be interacting with over the several seasons of that show. And I used to really like that show. I really like the character of Rory. And I would see her as a young girl reading some books that I hadn't read, and so I was always intrigued by her as a reader. And then when I saw that someone had created this list, I was just all over it, and it was the thing that introduced me to this website. And so I have interacted with this website a lot of times. There was a couple of years ago, it was a Vlogmas series. I don't think it was last year, I think it was the year before, where we did a book list every day, and some of the lists that we use came from this website. So it's a website that I love. So I am going to go through a list from List Challenges with you today. Last week in one of our lives, we went through a book list from Chicago Public Library where they shared their best of 2025. And so we didn't do very well with that list because it's a lot of, it's all new books, and it's all new books. And we don't read as many new books as we think we do. And when we're reading all these new books, in any case, we don't know whether they're going to be great books, whether they're going to be on the top books of the year. So what I decided to do instead is to use a curated list um, from a previous year. So I'm going to use the New York Times Best of 2023 because I think that gives us a little bit of time to have read the books. 2023 or 2022 gives us a little bit of time. We're just going to take this list together. We're going to take this list challenge together, and then I'm going to go because I need to go hang out with my pumpkin. Trying to find it. I think New York Times. I saw it before. I thought I had saved it, but I can't sign in on here anymore. Something happened with my sign in. And if I'm not able to do it today, I'll come back on and do it another time. Maybe I'll do it as a video. Okay, let's do it this way. New York Times 100 Best Books of the 21st Century. So from 2001 to now. So here are the books. Can you still see me? I hope you can. All right, we're going to do this. We're going to do this. Hi, friends. We're going to be taking the New York Times 100 Best Books of the 21st Century Challenge. It's 100 books. I'm just going to call the titles and the authors, and we're going to mark off how many of the books we've read. So the good thing is on this challenge, I don't have to keep score. It keeps the score for me. So here are the titles. First is, I don't think these are any order. I don't know. So let's just call the books. Dennis Johnson's Tree of Smoke. That's a no, I haven't read. How to Be Both by Ali Smith. I own, I haven't read. Bel Canto by Anne Patchett. I own, I haven't read. Men We Reaped by Jesmyn Ward. I do not own. I haven't read. Wayward Lives, Beautiful Experiments, Intimate Histories of Social Upheaval by Sadiya Hartman. I haven't read. Hilary Mantel, Bring Up the Bodies. Yes, I read that. Zadie Smith on Beauty, Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel. I haven't read either of those. The Days of Abandonment by Elena Ferrante. I have read. I think that's the book where her character is dealing with divorce. The Human Stain by Philip Roth. I haven't read. The Sympathizer by Viet Thanh Nguyen. I have read. The Return by Hisham Matar. I have not read. The Collected Stories of Lydia Davis, I haven't read. Detransition Baby by Tori Peters, I have read. Frederick Douglass, Prophet of Freedom by David Blight, I have not read. Pastoralia by George Saunders, I haven't read. So far I've read 5 of 16. The Emperor of Maladies, A Biography of Cancer by Siddhartha Mukherjee, I have not read. Benjamin Labatut, When We Cease to Understand the World, I haven't read. Hurricane Season by Fernanda Melchor, I haven't read. Pulphead Essays by John Jeremiah Sullivan, I haven't read. Elena Ferrante, The Story of the Lost Child, I have read. Um, I'm assuming more of the this is the Elena Ferrante trilogy. Is it a trilogy? It's been a few years now since I read it, but this is that series by Elena Ferrante, My Brilliant Friend, and the books after it. So this is the second book I think in the series, but it's on here by itself. So yeah, the A Manual for Cleaning Women by Lucia Berlin. I have not read. Septology, the other name. Septology by John Foss. I have not read. An American Marriage by Tayari Jones. I have read. Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. I have not read, but I did read Exit West by Mohsin Hamid and Olive Kitteridge by Elizabeth Strout. I have not read Robert Caro, The Years of Lyndon Johnson, The Passage of Power. Um, a recliner is the chair that can go back. So to recline means to go back. Sorry. Like this brown chair right here is a recliner. Remember? Svetlana Alexievich, The Secondhand Time, The Last of the Soviets. I don't think I've read that one. I read her book, Voices from Chernobyl, I've been meaning to read other things by her, but I haven't gotten to them yet. The Copenhagen Trilogy by Tove Ditlevsen. Ditlevsen. I have not read. All Aunt Hagar's Children, Stories by Edward P. Jones. I think I started reading this and I'm not sure if I finished. Edward P. Jones was the Pulitzer Prize winning novelist from A Known World. And I know I read one of his short story collections. I think it may be this title, but I can't remember. I'm going to say no, just because I'm not sure. The New Jim Crow by Michelle Alexander, I have not read. The Friend by Sigrid Nunez, I have not read. Far from the Tree by Andrew Solomon, I haven't read. We the Animals by Justin Torres, I have not read. The Plot Against America by Philip Roth, I have not read. That's a no. The Great Believers by Rebecca Mackay, no. Veronica by Mary Getskill, no. 1004 by Ben Lerner, no. Demon Copperhead by Barbara Kingsolver, I have read, yes. So that's the first 40, and I've read 10. The Let me tell you what the average for this quiz is going to be. I should have told you that before. The average score is 11. Um, for you to get 5 stars, you have to have read 18 of the books. So far, I have 3 stars. I have 10 books so far. The average score is 11. So will I get one more and make at least the average? Here are the next 4 books. Heavy by Casey Lehman, no. Middlesex by Jeffrey Eugenides, no. Stay True, a memoir by Washu, yes. So I'm at 11. I have 4 stars. I have gotten to the average. Yay me. Nickel and Dimed by Barbara Ehrenreich, no. The Flamethrowers by Rachel Kushner, no. The Looming Tower, Al Qaeda and the Road to 9/11 by Lawrence Wright, no. 10th of December by George Saunders, no. Alice Munro's Runaway, no. Train Dreams by Dennis Johnson, no, but I have read Life After Life by Kate Atkinson. I've read Trust by Hernan Diaz. I have read The Vegetarian by Han Kang, which we talked about yesterday on the live. Um, the Complete Persepolis by Marjan Satrapi, yes, I have read. Toni Morrison's novel A Mercy, I have read. The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt, I have read. And The Argonauts by Maggie Nelson, I have not read. So I'm at 17. I think one more and I'll have gotten 5 stars. Let's see, the next 4 are The Fifth Season by N.K. Jemisin, no. Post War by Tony Judd, A History of Europe Since 1945, no. But I have read A Brief History of Seven Killings by Marlon James and Small Things Like These by Claire Keegan. So I have 19. I have now passed the 5-star point. Everything else is extra. I love this for me. H is for Hawk by Helen MacDonald. A Visit from the Goon Squad by Jennifer Egan. I haven't read. I have been meaning to read this book for years. It's right there. So many books. The Savage Detectives by Roberto Bolaño. No. The Years by Annie Ernaux. No, I didn't read that one. I read another book from her. Um, Between the World and Me by Ta-Nehisi Coates, yes. Fun Home by Alison Bechdel, no. Citizen by Claudia Rankin, no. Salvage the Bones by Jesmyn Ward, no. The Line of Beauty by Alan Hollinghurst, no. White Teeth by Zadie Smith, yes. Sing Unburied Sing by Jesmyn Ward, yes. The Last Samurai by Helen Dewitt, no. So Jesmyn Ward has 3 books on this list already so far. That's impressive. David Mitchell's Cloud Atlas by David Mitchell, no. Americana by Chimamanda Adichie, yes. Atonement by Ian McEwan, no. Random Family, Love, Drugs, Trouble, and Coming of Age in the Bronx by Adrienne Nicole LeBlanc, no. I'm at 23 books so far. The Overstory by Richard Powers, no. Hateship, Friendship, Courtship, Loveship, Marriage Stories by Alice Munro, no. Another person who has 2 books or more. George Saunders also has 2 books on this list so far. Behind the Beautiful Forever is by Catherine Boo, and Evicted by Matthew Desmond. I haven't read Evicted, but I did really find his book Poverty to be very profound. Um, Eye-opening. Percival Everett, finally on the list. Percival Everett's Erasure is on here. I haven't read Say Nothing, True Story of Murder and Memory in Northern Ireland by Patrick Radden Keefe. I have read Lincoln and the Bardo by George Saunders. I have read, so here, George Saunders, 3 books on this list. The Sellout by Paul Beatty. Yes, I have also read. The Amazing Adventures of Cavalier and Clay by Michael Chabon, I haven't read. Pachinko by Minjin Lee, I didn't read. Outline by Rachel Cusk, I haven't read, but I did read The Road by Cormac McCarthy. I read The Year of Magical Thinking by Joan Didion. The Brief and Wondrous Life of Oscar Wilde by Juno Diaz, I have read. Gilead by Marilyn Robinson, I read. I still haven't read Never Let Me Go by Kazuo Ishiguro. Austerlitz by W.G. Sebald, I haven't read, but I did read The Underground Railroad by Colson Whitehead. 2666 by Roberto Bolaño, I haven't read. Another author with 2 books on the list. The Corrections by Jonathan Franzen, I haven't yet read. The Known World by Edward P. Jones, okay, another author with two books on the list. Hilary Mantel's Wolf Hall, she's also on here with two books. The Warmth of Other Suns by Isabel Wilkerson. The Epic Story of America's Great Migration is on here. I think if this list is updated, that Isabel Wilkerson would also have a second book on this list because I think Cass deserves to be on this list as well. And here is Elena Ferrante, my brilliant friend, also rounding out the 100 position. So those are 100 books, and I read 34 of them. So my stats says I did better than 97% of users on this list. I beat the average score. So 1 second, Pumpkin. So that is how we're going to wrap up today, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Yes, love. Right. Thank you so much for being here with me today. Horrified says, how many Frida McFadden's are there? Um, there's Frida is not on this list. The list is a few years old, I think. The wrap up, the list of the New York Times best of the 21st century was first published. Let me see if the information is on here. Um, I'm not sure when this list was made. Not sure when the list was made, but I do know. Let's see if we can find when the list was published. Let's look it up. But I think this list was probably before Frida McFadden's popularity soared. Can I find when the list was published? I can't see. The thing is stuck behind a paywall, and I know we have a we have a we have a subscription to the we have a subscription to the New York Times online, but it's not on this computer. It's signed on somewhere else. Let me see when the list was published. I'm trying to find that. I'm trying to find it. Um, That's interesting. So the list it says was published last year. So I'm surprised that Frida McFadden is not on here because of her popularity, but there aren't a lot of genre books on here. There aren't a lot of genre fiction. There isn't a lot of genre fiction on here. It's mostly literary fiction and nonfiction. So I think maybe not popular books, but what they consider to be the best books in terms of the subject that they deal with. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure. let me not let me not share my opinion as though it has been proven. But yeah, um, I know. I think there are some other books that could have been included, but I don't know what the rationale was. So I will I will see when I get onto the other computer that has a New York Times subscription on there. I'll see if I can look up some background on that list, why it is the way it is. But yeah, I appreciate your coming on and hanging out with me. Horrified 0000. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, there isn't a lot of genre fiction. Like there's no YA, there's no sci-fi. Yeah, it's literary fiction and nonfiction for the last 25 years. So it's interesting. So yeah, I have to go because my daughter is calling for me, and so I have to go fulfill my responsibilities. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and wishing you a happy early Thanksgiving celebration. And even if you are not celebrating American Thanksgiving, I wish that you will have a time and a season where you can just, reflect on all the things that are good, all the things that you are happy for, all the things that you're grateful for. And in your reflection, that it gives you joy and, helps you maybe not think about the things that you wish you had that don't, but don't. So, yeah. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'm going to get some more reading done. I'm going to try to make a video to share with you while I am away because I don't think I'll be on here live for the next couple of days. But until then, until we come back for another live or until we see each other soon, I'm going to start making plans for Vlogmas. I intend to do Vlogmas this year. And so I need to put some things in place for all of that. So look forward to hearing from you really soon. And for Horrified 0000, because you asked, I'm going to be taking this with me when we travel this weekend. So I will be ready to talk to you, hopefully, about a new Frida McFadden very soon. I hope you join me for that. So until we come back for another video, until we come back for more hanging out like this. Happy reading, happy family time, happy working, happy video watching, whatever it is that you do for the next few days. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you have a wonderful time. Be safe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.